Hey guys, Matt Bishop here for PopCultureMadness.com, and I am here with Dan Hawkins of The Darkness.
Hi.
I just like saying that. That
What?
sounds good. Dan Hawkins of The Darkness.
Dan.
Dan.
It sounds a lot better than Dan, doesn't it? Dan.
Dan.
How we say it in...
Sounds a little bit better in British accent, don't you think?
Yeah, man.
So, you guys are out on tour right now. You guys are back, so to speak, even though you've been back for a little while. Took a little bit of a break, and you guys are back. A new record, Hot Cakes, is out. Great album. I'm really enjoying listening to it. What has it all been like these last maybe, year and a half or so? Just really back into the fold.
Yeah, it's been pretty full on. We were kind of going to take our time and release the album in, this year actually. But it all kind of got brought ahead by about 6 to 8 months because we got this big offer of a festival in England. So we were kind of just sort of feeling each other out and making an album under our own sort of time constraints, and then suddenly everything was just 100 miles an hour, and we've basically been on the road since about mid 2011, I think it was. So yeah, it's been great though. We're finding that because we didn't really tour America on the second album, or anywhere particularly, that extensively. There are a lot of fans that are getting to see us for the first time that maybe we were their high school band or whatever, and they didn't get to see us at the time because maybe even they were too young. Yeah, and then say 8 years or 8 to 10 years later, they finally get to see us. So there's a lot of very excited people in the audiences, which is cool.
How has the response been so far to just the new songs, you guys touring in general? How have the crowds been?
It's been great, yeah. It's kind of, I think we really kind of crossed over into a real sort of pop audience domain on the first record, and I think it's kind of fallen back into line of being more of a rock band thing. So that kind of suits me because you get to have a bit more of a rocking show. People are there are more mosh pits and more headbanging and just out and out rocking going on. Whereas I think last time we were touring, it was kind of a lot of observers, because we were considered to be a bit of a spectacle and because we crossed into that pop thing. But now it's just out and out rocking. Some of it's like quite punk rock, because some of the new album is quite punk rock as well. Well, what I call punk rock. I'm sure real punk rock enthusiasts would find that probably heathenistic, but so it's it gets pretty messy out there.
Well, this must have been a good experience for you writing this album, because like you mentioned, it is more back to the rock sound, and when I listen to it, like songs like She's Just a Girl, Eddie, and things, very, very classic is the word that comes to mind. Very classic rock and roll. Yeah. And that must have been great as a guitar player for you, to be writing these hooks and riffs.
Yeah, I've never claimed to be the most intricate or technical guitarist in the world. In fact, most of our songs are approximately 3 chords, sometimes not even that. It kind of works for me. It's just playing them in an order that people haven't done before, really. Yeah, I like old school rock music, and for whatever reason it tends to be quite simple, mainly because you need something that you can maybe play while under the influence, and also headbanging like a bastard.
There you go. I remember when Permission to Lane came out, and it was just a huge album. All my friends and I in high school all went out and bought it, all listened to it, loved it. And then the long break comes. Now we're back with Hot Cakes. Was there, a certain amount of pressure that you guys felt with this album? Like, we should try and, bring the glory days back? Or was it just kind of, hey, this is the next album, the next chapter?
Yeah, well, it was kind of, we got back together, and the idea was to make the album and finish it without anyone knowing that we got back together. And to some extent, we kind of almost made it. But as I say, unfortunately, we made the mistake of telling our agent you know. And he just happened to mention it to someone, and then that big offer that I was saying came in, and then suddenly we had to come out, so to speak, and we were halfway through the record. But you know, so pressure-wise, there was none really up until that point, because we you know, I produced the record and, in my own studio, and the guys came and stayed with me at my house, and it was just, you know, really great fun. And it was kind of like getting to know each other again, because, you know, I think we really sort of lost touch with each other halfway through the touring of the first album, you know. So it was brilliant just to reconnect, and it, you know, doing it in our own studio, or my own studio, enabled us to kind of, you know, have a schedule that did include tennis and, like, you know, and just hanging out and things like that, rather than being under loads of pressure. And the whole thing was just to kind of capture, as you say, the excitement of the first record, and not to make it too perfect like the second, you know what I mean? And I think we kind of hit it somewhere in the middle, you know, with the production values of the second and the excitement of the first. So yeah, it was just a really great experience, you know. I think we valued more than anything the fact that, you know, that we got our friendships back. That was, you know, if anything came with that album and that whole project for us, I think that would be the best thing of it all, you know, because we're all really good mates again now, and we weren't even talking to each other before, so that's the best thing about all this.
I caught you guys a couple months back at Rock on the Range.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
That was a great show.
Is that that's when, yeah. Oh, that's right. And Rob Zombie was side of stage for that. Rocking out. That was awesome. That was the shortest set we've ever played, I think. Like, it was like 25 minutes.
Yeah, there's so many bands. You know?
But it was cool, you know. That's fine by us, you know.
Well, you guys played that here in the States, and then obviously you recently played Download, and you've played at other festivals like that. Big thing nowadays in the music business, especially in the rock world, are the U.S. festivals catching up to the rest of the world? Because you go to a place like Download, and there's 300,000 people, you know, multiple days, and you come here, it's really not much like it, but they're catching up a little bit.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, isn't it? You've got like your Coachellas and whatnot, and the Lollapalooza tours and stuff, but yeah, it's funny, like constantly, you know, meeting fans, and they're saying, they're always going on about the European festivals as like the holy grail. I guess we're kind of spoilt really, because because it's been going on for so long, since like the Isle of Wight, Glastonbury, all this kind of thing, kind of set the benchmark, didn't they? Yeah, you kind of do a lot of like radio festival things over here, don't you? Where it's kind of like linked in with a radio station, and therefore not necessarily the bands being booked aren't not necessarily going to get something that's going to really surprise anyone. Whereas, like, I think some of the European festivals, you could just wander around off your gourd, off your mind, and just stumble in and sort of find your new favourite band, and they're still a well-kept secret at that point. So, yeah, I think we're quite spoilt for Fezzies out there.
Well, where are you guys headed next? We have this U.S. leg right now. You mentioned you guys might be coming back here.
Definitely, yeah. I think we're booking something in May, because we've only done a little bit of it, but I think we'll be spending a lot of time over here this year. Again, we've got some catching up to do, because we kind of scratched the surface in like 2004, and we didn't come back for the second record. So it's quite remarkable that, you know, thousands of people are coming out to see us each gig. At the moment, we're amazed really. So, but we want to build on that, so we can spend a lot more time out here.
It's a beautiful thing.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining me, Dan. I greatly appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you.
Dan Hawkins of The Darkness, ladies and gentlemen. They are on the road right now, so get your tickets while you still can. But if you can't, don't worry. Plenty of tour dates coming in 2013, and the new album, Hot Cakes, is out now. So if you haven't gotten a copy, make sure you spend some of that leftover Christmas money and go pick it up.